Okay, I think we're live. If you can see and hear me, can you drop a yes in the comments? I am broadcasting, I'm live streaming from both LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you can just let me know if you can see and hear me, that would be a huge help. Okay, YouTube looks like it's working. LinkedIn, bear with me. I'm trying to make sure we're all set up. Yes. Yes, okay, we're live on YouTube. Perfect. Is there anyone who's watching from LinkedIn? Live on LinkedIn. We did it. All right. Cool. Okay. Thank you. That's a huge help. This is my first time doing something like this. Uh, can't see you on LinkedIn yet. Okay, someone who is tuning in on LinkedIn, were you able to just go to my profile and see it? There might just be a delay, Joan, because I think it might take a second. Yes. Hi, Joanne. Joanne's on LinkedIn. Oh, but Joanne, you're on YouTube. Okay. If you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, doesn't matter. Awesome. Yay. Thank you, Joanne. I'm so happy you're here. Okay. Sorry, the camera's over here. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. Okay. So I've got StreamYard up here, so that's where I'm looking at the comments. I got an alert and it came right up. LinkedIn, I got a notification. Thank you, Seth. Okay, actually, you know what? I should probably put this on this screen. Okay, so thank you for helping me out with this. Like I said, it's my first time streaming on two platforms like this, so it's a little new to me. Hi, Charming. Okay, so whatever platform you're watching from, I can see all your comments. Just so you know, like I said, I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube right now. Any questions, comments? Hi, Wana. Any questions or comments you have throughout this whole thing, feel free to drop them on whichever platform you're on. If I can stop where I'm at and address them, I will. Otherwise, I will circle back to the at the end and I will try my best to get everybody. Okay. So let's get going. I've got my notes here so I don't forget anything important and we will get going. So, welcome, first of all. Whether you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, thanks for giving me some of your time today. I promise to respect it. Like I said, if you just hopped on, feel free to drop comments and I will answer them either in the moment or at the end. I will scroll back and try to get everybody yet. If we haven't met yet, my name is Megan and I'm the owner of Spark Content Agency and also the founder of Revenue Spark, the agency accelerator, which is my program where I teach other professionals how to land clients. So agency owners, freelancers, consultants. Now, over the years, just to give you some context why we're here, I've spoken to so many of you on social media and email, and there is a pattern. A lot of you tell me that one of the hardest parts of your business is landing clients. And it's not you. You're not alone. Everybody struggles with this, understandably. There are so many moving parts. And if you don't get all of them lined up perfectly, it doesn't work. So you're not alone. One of the things that has been very good to me is cold emailing. That was how I started my business. And I still use it a lot to this day, in addition to other methods. But if you have any experience with cold emailing, just give me a yes in the comments. I want to see what we're working with here. Have you tried cold emailing in the past? Cool. Okay. Feel free to chime in at any point, and we're going to keep going. So, struggling with cold emailing, it's super frustrating, especially if you've been through that experience where you've sent hundreds of cold emails and it's not working. The good news is what I'm seeing from a lot of you is that you are kind of all struggling with the same specific parts of cold emailing, and they're very fixable. So yeah, with Aaron, Joan, Teresa, lots of people have tried cold emailing. So like I said, odds are what's getting in your way is super fixable. Today, what we're going to focus on is the cold email itself. Okay, there are other parts to this that maybe we will cover in other streams, but today we're going to focus on the email itself and how you can like communicate with your leads and sound like a human being. Seth said, tried it but had little success. Yep, you are not alone. Joanne, I've had success with cold pitching via LinkedIn, but not email. LinkedIn is great. That's what my students and I use. Juana says it's a numbers game. It is largely a numbers game, but we're going to get to that. Charming, he's asking, will you talk about the cold outreach on LinkedIn? Not on this live stream. I've got lots of YouTube videos on that. And if people would like to see that, we can talk about LinkedIn outreach in a future live stream. Today is just cold emailing. All right. So like I said, we're going to break down a cold email from start to finish. And I'm going to show you exactly how I write mine and how I teach my students to write theirs. And by the end, you're basically going to have a template that you can take and use for your own business. Like I said, whether you're an agency owner, a freelancer, consultant, certain types of coaches, and this replay will be up. So if you miss anything or you want to, hear the template again, you can just watch the replay afterward. Okay, so let's dive right in. All right, we're going to start from the top of the email and work our way down. Now, the success of your cold email partly hinges on the subject line alone. One little bit of text can make or break it. And that's because this is technically where the conversation starts. All right, it starts before they even open the email. And depending on who you ask, the number varies. Some research says 30%, some says 45%. What we know is that a lot of your leads are going to decide whether or not they want to open up the email based on the subject line alone. So if you lose them there, they're gone. And a very common mistake that I see a lot of professionals making is they try to get too fancy with the subject line. Understandably, we're trying to stand out in a very crowded inbox. The thing though, and I know it's going to seem kind of counterintuitive, the subject line, all it needs to do is give them a glimpse of what they're going to see in the email itself. That's it. It needs to be super to the point and super transparent. Other types of email marketing, getting more creative can help you, but not with cold emailing specifically. All right. If you get too creative or you try to use something that's like clickbaity, I want to say, it's not going to work because you are a stranger in this person's inbox. All right. So I have two subject lines for you. I've used them both. Both work great. They're super boring, but I argue that that's why they work so well. So if you've got a pen or you've got your notes up, write these down. The first subject line, and I'm using myself as an example, blogging for brand name. Okay. I have a content agency. We write blogs. Yours might be social media for brand name, graphic design for brand name, fill in the blank, whatever service you offer. All right. That was the first one. Another one that works really well for me, quick question about something. Quick question about your blog, about your social media, whatever you're focusing on. Okay? Keep it simple. Keep it transparent. Now, I'm not telling you not to test different subject lines. Take the two that I just sent you, test those, test variations of those. Testing is vital to constantly zeroing in on the best process for you. There is no one size fits all. All right. But if you still don't believe me, you can go ahead and test stuff that's like super out of the box and like a little more daring. Measure and compare your results. Compare what kind of results those different subject lines yield. I can tell you after sending thousands of cold emails at this point, consistently over and over and over again, simple has always worked best. All right, so you're going to test different subject lines, starting with the two that I just gave you. How do you know your subject line is even working? You need to look at your open rates. Okay. Your open rate is going to be the biggest indication of whether or not your subject lines are as good as they could be. A lower open rate typically means your subject line could be better. It means not a lot of people are opening your email. Now that begs another question. What is a good open rate for cold emailing? It depends on who you ask. Some people say 10, some say 25. It's kind of an opinion, it's kind of relative. So my suggestion to you, like I said earlier, is test. Start with 2 subject lines. One is going to perform better than the other. So discard the one that was not performing as well and replace it with another. And then test those 2. And you keep going through that process over and over again. This is what I've been doing for the last 10 years. This is how I know what works and what doesn't. All right. Remember that when you test anything, you need to give it a chance to work. All right. So don't do it once. Then you're not happy with the results and you're like, oh, okay, whatever, on to the next one. That's not enough time. So I would suggest you try each subject line at least 10 to 15 times. And when you test your subject line, you need to keep everything else in the cold email the same. In general, with testing, only test one variable at a time. So that way, if your results are different, you can isolate what caused that difference. Let me pause here because we're getting some really good questions. Joanne said, I used your email subject lines, lifesaver. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Christian, so glad you're here. Bryson says, not working on LinkedIn. Just an FYI. Thank you for letting me know. Is there anyone currently watching from LinkedIn? Just let me know if you're watching from LinkedIn. I want to make sure it should be working on that platform. It says I'm live. Joanne's asking, what do you use to keep track of your open rate? Great question. Streak. STREAK. Okay, we are live on LinkedIn, so I'm not sure what's going on, but Bryson, I see you're on YouTube, so we're good. Okay, sorry. So to track email opens, Streak. There are tons of tools that do this, by the way. This is just what I use. It's a free CRM for Gmail. And that's what I use to determine whether or not people are opening my emails. There are all sorts of tools and software you can use. I just like Streak because it's built right into Gmail and it allows you to track the activity of your emails. It doesn't reveal any personal information, so you're not going to see the name of who opened the email. Of course, you know who opened it unless you sent it to multiple people. But yeah, that's what I use. Like I said, you can use it for free. There are others. I just can't vouch for them too much. I do use ConvertKit, but I use that more for my program, that side of my business, and at my agency. But any tool, any software you use, they should have either a free or a very affordable subscription if you're kind of like a small business. Okay, so hi, Dr. Jessica. All right, looks like we're good. Other people saying they couldn't watch on LinkedIn. I don't know why it's working for some people and not others, but I'm glad you're on YouTube. So thank you for making it. Okay, let's keep going. So we left off at testing. Test your subject lines. All right. All right. So we're going to keep going, moving down the email. Let's say you've got a really solid subject line and you've got a lot of your leads opening your email. We're going to move to the body of the email next, starting with who you address it to, which some of you might be rolling your eyes and thinking this is super obvious. It's not, because people mess it up all the time. You should be starting your emails every single time with dear name or hi name, not dear sir or madam, not to whom it may concern, not dear business owner. I get some that say dear and then my website's URL. If you don't have the first name of the recipient, you're not ready to email them yet. I get emails like that all the time. I don't even get past the first line. I trash them. So address it to a human being. You've got to remember that even though cold emailing is partly a numbers game, it will never make up for quality. There's no amount of cold emails you can send that will make up with not treating the lead like a human being. You have to have both quality and quantity. Okay? So you've addressed them by their name. And then after that, there's one thing I want you to keep in mind. Tattoo it on your forehead, write it down, put it somewhere. Get to the point. Get to the point really fast. You've got to remember, you are a total stranger trying to sell them something. They have no reason to trust you. They have no reason to like you. They have no reason to read your email. And they hate being sold to. Everybody hates being sold to. Okay? People are busy. They're tired. They're stressed out. You have to put yourself in their shoes. So to ask for any more of their time or energy than you really need, you're going to lose them. You have to respect their time and their energy by taking as little of it as possible. All right? So the first paragraph of your cold email should very briefly tell them who you are and why you're reaching out. That's it. So I will say something like, my name is Megan, and I'm the owner of Spark Content Agency. I'm reaching out because I'm interested in partnering on your blog. That's it. So you can take those two exact sentences, plug in your own details. You're going to say, my name is blank, and I am, put your role, either the owner of your agency or a freelance writer or a social media consultant, whatever. And then you're going to say, I'm reaching out because I'm interested in blah, blah, blah. For the next paragraph, you kind of want to think about kind of expanding on what you already said, but always keeping in mind that all they care about is what's in this for them, because they have no reason to care about you. You're a stranger. So you have to phrase everything in the context of, this is why you should care. So I will say something like, my agency works specifically with brands in the health and wellness arena to get them ranking higher in Google with optimized blog content. All right, so here I'm telling them what I offer and how they benefit from it. I'm saying ranking higher in Google. That's how they benefit. That's what they get out of this. That's why they should care. This is about them, not me. You're sending cold emails to land new clients and make money, but you have to remember that they don't care about you making money. They care about you solving their problems. So you have to prioritize their needs. And if you do that, the money follows. But don't chase money. Chase helping them. That has to be your motivation. If you're chasing money, they're going to know, they're not going to be receptive, and you will not land clients. And I know it's kind of scary to let go of that goal, that objective. I want to earn more. Like, I get it. We all want more money. But I'm telling you, I can promise you that when you make the goal helping people, the money follows as a very natural byproduct. Okay? That doesn't mean you can't have money goals, but don't let it be the sole driver of what you're doing. All right? And again, going back to talking about how they benefit, notice that we're not just listing our services in the email. If I had said, we write blogs, we do SEO, who cares? That doesn't speak to them. You need to talk about the benefits, what they get out of it. I will get you ranking higher in Google. That's the benefit, all right? So we're going to tell them that, and then we're not going to tell them anything else. Let me pause there because we're getting some good questions. Yeah. If anyone had trouble on LinkedIn, I'm sorry. I don't know why. It's working for some people and not others. Joanne said, spell the name right. People misspell my name sometimes, and it's really off-putting. It is, especially when the name is right in the email address. Yeah. Little things like that, they're going to kill you. So and we're going to come back to this in a minute. So you brought up a good point. Joan says, in some cultures, it's also considered an insult to deliberately spell or pronounce someone's name wrong. That's fascinating and also scary. That's good to know. John says, great. Aaron says, so no genuine compliment for the first line. You absolutely can. So one thing I've tested out, I didn't stop doing it because it doesn't work. I don't do it as frequently because for me, I've noticed better conversion rates with other types of emails, like saying other things. But yes, one thing you can do in your cold emails is you can start them off with a compliment. But there is a huge, 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 huge disclaimer here. And it's one reason why I always tell people, just be so careful with this. If you do not have a genuine, real, good thing to say to your lead that's specific, I would not go the compliment route. If all you have to say is something like, hey, I saw your LinkedIn post, cool content, it's too broad. It sounds disingenuous. But if you have something like if someone reached out to me and said, hey, I caught your live stream on the anatomy of a cold email, that was fun. That's pretty specific. Hopefully they actually sat here and watched it. But I mean, you got to kind of get the difference there. Or if you have a mutual connection and that mutual connection spoke very highly of them. Or if you read a blog post that they wrote, name the blog post. What you're trying to avoid is people feeling like you're BSing them, because that's the mistake that a lot of people make when they go the compliment route. So it totally 100% can work. Just, I will give you that gentle reminder to make it really genuine. All right. Don't BS your way through it. And if you feel like you are, leave it out. Great question. Nice hat. Thanks. Thanks for going live for us. My pleasure. I hope this helps. Okay, so we left off at that second paragraph. We're going to keep going. After that, you are ready for a call to action. You want to have a strong call to action or CTA. My suggestion, what I do, what I tell my students to do, is to ask the lead to get on a quick call. It can be a phone call, Zoom call, or whatever call. I suggest this as your CTA because it has significantly helped my students and I with our conversion rates. And the reason for that, it's pretty logical when you think about it. When you get on a call with someone and they can hear your voice, and especially if you're on Zoom and you both turn on your videos, it removes some of the mystery. We are all strangers behind a computer. And like I said earlier, they have no reason to trust you. And a lot of people get scammed. They get taken advantage of. They get used. It's really easy to lie and mislead in an email. It is way harder to do that on a call. So you are both going to get a more genuine sense of who the other person is. So it's good for both of you. You might get on that call and see tons of red flags and be like, I don't want to work with this person anymore. But I strongly suggest you use that as your CTA. It's going to be a really good opportunity to build trust and get to know each other. So for your CTA, you can say something like, would you be open to chatting more over a quick call this week? If so, let me know a few times that are convenient for you. Again, this replay will be up. So if I'm moving too fast, you can copy all this down, just watch the replay. Something like that. Tweak it, make it sound like you. Not every lead is going to want to get on a call, and that's okay. Ask anyway. Always ask. And if they want to continue the conversation over email, that's totally fine. Do that instead. After that, you're going to put sincerely or best or thank you, and then your name. Okay, so I'm going to recap the whole template, the whole email. And again, you'll be able to access this on the replay. Copy this, personalize it, make it sound true to you. But here's what we've got. I've got dear name. My name is Megan, and I'm the owner of Spark Content Agency. I'm reaching out because I'm interested in partnering on your blog content. My agency works specifically with brands in the health and wellness arena to get them ranking higher in Google with optimized blog content. Would you be open to chatting more over a quick call this week? If so, let me know a few times that are convenient for you. Thank you. My name. Now, a lot of feedback I get at this point is, that's it? That's all they say? Yeah, that's it. There's no magic trick. All right? With your cold emails, there are two main goals. Get their attention, that's your subject line, and move the relationship forward. The subject line is what's going to get their attention in the first place, like I said, and it gets them to open the email. And then the rest of the email is all about gently moving the relationship forward. You don't need to talk their ear off to do that. And in fact, you shouldn't. When people open cold emails and they see an epic novel, they see an email that is this long, like, no, they're not going to read it. They don't know you. There's no relationship. So this is what a lot of my cold emails look like, and my students. We're not done yet, so hang with me. We're almost done. Like I mentioned, I will tweak it and personalize it so that it fits the lead. It's okay to work off of templates, but personalize every email, because this is what I said earlier, there's no one size fits all. No two leads are the same. And like I said earlier, you're talking to a human being. So don't assume that a conversation with them is going to look like the previous conversation you had with a different lead. The important thing here is that the goal does not change. So the goal of my cold emails is always to try to get them to commit to a phone call. All right. And like I said, sometimes they don't want to, so we just talk over email. But the point of that phone call is you're moving the relationship forward. All right. Let's keep going. Cold emails often end in silence. This is totally normal. And that's why you have to follow up. All right. There's nothing wrong with following up. You're going to have to do it. I'm going to give you a little tough love right now. If you're not willing to follow up, cold emailing is not for you. You're going to have to be a little more persistent than that. So you want to look at your follow-up email as a gentle nudge. That's what I tell my students. Pretend how you're like kind of like tapping them on the shoulder and you're like, hey, I'm still here. You know, that's it. You're just reminding them that you're still there. So I will say something like, hi, name, looping back around here. I'd still love to talk more about your blog. Do you have time this week for a call? That was what, 3 sentences? So again, there's no magic trick here. All right. It's like strategy, but it's also knowing how to communicate with people in a real and genuine way. Templates will take you very, very far, but I always tell my students, like, if I give you an email template and parts of it don't feel like you, change them, okay? So that brings me, I've got a few final tips I want to leave you with, things that kind of didn't fit into the discussion. So I left them for the end, and this is going to help your conversion rates a little more. So tip number 1, I've said this already, I'm going to say it again, talk like a human. Don't try to sound like anything. Just talk like yourself. You got to remember that back in the day, whenever that was, people used to sell just by talking in person. They just had conversations. How weird is that? They used to have face-to-face conversations, okay? Some industries still do that. It's built on, like, relationships. It's still built on relationships. It's just that now it's in a digital world. But you want to take that exact tone that people use in their face-to-face conversations and put that in an email. In fact, what I suggest you do is read your cold emails out loud before you send them. If it sounds fake or robotic, or if you can't imagine saying it out loud to that person, try again, okay? It should flow and feel natural and like chill. It should feel chill, like you're just having a conversation. Hard selling and being super aggressive for cold emailing typically are not going to pay off, all right? So that was tip number 1, talk like a human. Tip number 2, get specific with your call to action. So notice that with my example, I said, if you're available for a call, let me know 3 times that are convenient, okay? So it helps if your CTA is very concrete and actionable. So now imagine, as a comparison, if I had just said to them, would you be open to talking more? And, left it at that. They might respond and be like, yeah, sure. Okay, so then I'm going to email them again and say, okay, cool. What time would work for you? That type of CTA, it's not as proactive, it's not as actionable. So up front, say to them, what are 3 convenient times for you? Or on the flip side, you can say, here are 3 potential times. Which one would be best for you? But the point is that you don't want a CTA that's super open-ended. I used to do that. And then through testing, I realized that when I got a little more specific and a little more concrete with my CTAs, not only did it kind of like speed up the conversation a little bit, but I got more responses. Okay, so that was tip number 2, get specific with your CTA. Tip number 3, read every single cold email before you send it out. Every single one. And the reason for this is because there will come a time, if you don't read your emails, that you are going to forget to personalize them. And you are going to send a template to someone that says, hi, name, or it's going to have the wrong name. Easy mistake to avoid. Just read your emails. Okay? And tip number 4, run your email through mailtester.com. So this is spelled mail-tester.com. Now, what this does, it's a free tool. It'll tell you the spammy-ness of your email. Now, the cold email I've given you should not be flagged. It's not spam. I've used it a million times. But if you run it through Mailtester, and Mailtester tells you, it gives you a high spammy-ness score, that could mean that something is wrong, like technically, with your email address, with your actual account. And Mailtester will tell you what's wrong with it. I bring this up, honestly, it's not going to be an issue for most of you, but I would check your email once before you start cold emailing. Just do it like once or twice throughout. You don't have to run every email through it. But I bring this up because years ago, I was using Zoho for my email, and I switched to G Suite. And when I made that switch, something got funky, and my emails were going to spam, and I didn't know it. And I didn't realize, I was like, no one's responding to me. And I ran it through Mailtester, and it turns out there was something that got glitchy in the migration from Zoho to G Suite. And thankfully, we fixed it, and it was fine. And I only had to fix it once, but I never would have known. And so Mailtester kind of saved the day. Again, it's mail-tester.com. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I didn't forget anything, and I think we're good. I'm going to get to the Q&A in 1 second, so sit tight. Again, if you hopped on in the middle, the replays will be up on both LinkedIn and YouTube, so you can always watch them again. I've got a free guide you might be interested in. I've got tons of blogs and YouTube videos that can help you with cold emailing. So on both platforms, I will drop a bunch of links for you, either in the description or in a comment, one or the other. So you can access them there. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm everywhere. I'm on all the social medias. Tell me you sat in on this webinar, this live stream, so I know how we met. And a quick note, bear with me. If you haven't seen my other social media posts, I'm trying something different for 2022, just trying to help people a little more, hopefully. And I am running kind of a special version of my program, Revenue Spark, where I'm going to be opening it up to now there's 3 spots left, enrolling a few people and giving them additional one-on-one coaching and mentorship from me. So it's going to be very hands-on with goal setting and tracking your progress and mapping out all the steps you're going to take. If you've been waiting for your sign, this is it. All right. Trying to make 2022 better than last year. That was kind of the intention behind this. So I said I would take on 5 people. I have 3 spots left. I'm limiting it because it's, like I said, it's going to be more hands-on for me. And we're starting on February 1st. So if you think you might be interested, you don't have to commit to anything yet, but either message me, comment, email me. You can email me at hello@megangrant.net. Like I said, I'm on all the social media platforms. Just reach out to me. and we can talk more. We can set up a call to chit chat and make sure I can actually help you, and we'll take it from there. All right. So that was it for that announcement. Thank you for listening. All right. If you made it this far, God bless you. And I'm going to go back to the comments now. And I think I should be able to get through all of these. I saw some really good ones. Give me 1 second. I'm just scrolling back. 1 moment. Okay, so we talked about adding a compliment. Will says, great tips. Thank you. Okay, so Joanne's asking, what about if you want to write blog posts for them and you see they have a blog, but it's not active recently? Should you mention their blog? As long as they have a blog, you're fine. Years ago, I stopped, and again, I have a content agency. We're writers, so that's why I'm talking about blogging. I stopped reaching out to brands that don't have a blog a long time ago because there were too many hurdles. It's just like having to convince them that they need a blog and then getting the blog set up. Like, it's a long time before you actually start getting paid. So if they have a blog, great. If it's inactive, even better. You can mention that. You can say, I noticed you have a blog, but the last post was whatever date. And that can be your reason for reaching out. KDC kicks butt. Hello, Megan. Hi. Joan, I figure that's quite a big hurdle to jump through. So big, in fact, that the client's first response is going to be a no thanks. I'm not sure if that was in response to Joan. This is the hard part about going back to comments after the fact. I'm not quite sure what that was in reference to, but Joan is a ninja, so usually what you say is correct. Juana, I hope I'm saying your name right, because I know we've talked before. I Googled your name to make sure I was saying it correctly way back, so I hope it's Juana. Can you say something like, interested in chatting further, and then leave a Calendly link? Okay. Full disclosure, some people disagree with this opinion. My opinion is that when you send a cold email to someone and you want to work for them, you want to sell them something, and then you say, I would love to talk more, so here's my Calendly link. Now I want you to go and schedule the call. There's something about that just like makes my insides shrivel, because typically with a cold email, you want to make it as easy on them as possible. So that's one of the reasons I love suggesting times, because then all they have to do is pick one. Whereas if you give them your calendar link, they have to go and schedule it themselves, which you can do in a few seconds, but still you're asking them to like go and do something. So I will always be transparent with you. Some people don't think it's a big deal. They don't mind it at all. Personally, I don't do it. And when people do it to me, when they cold email me and say, I'd love to talk more, here's my calendar link so you can schedule a time, I'm like, no. But test it. So that's all I can do is give you my 2 cents on that. Those were my results. Will says, did you cover your open response rates? Would be curious on your own personal stats. We did talk about that a little bit earlier, about what kind of open rates you should be looking for, how you can track them. So I would just go back in the replay a little bit. So for me personally, I use cold emailing semi-regularly, but my go-to is LinkedIn. And that's largely what I teach in my program. So it's a very different conversation. I can tell you that out of every roughly 10 leads I reach out to, I ultimately close a client. So don't compare those apples to apples, though, because they're 2 different approaches. I just want to be clear about that. Aaron asks, are there specific days or times when you would recommend sending cold emails? Yes. So in a perfect world, you are sending or scheduling the email out so that the lead receives it morning their time. That's in a perfect world. You won't always know where they are, and that's okay. Send them during the week, during relative business hours, earlier in the day. Avoid Mondays. because everyone's catching up on email. Fridays are hit or miss. I always tell my students Tuesday through Thursday. That's the sweet spot. The thing with Friday is that because your CTA is, hey, let's schedule a call, they're in weekend mode. So if you email someone on a Friday asking to schedule a call for the following week, the mentality is often, oh, I'll just get to it next week. So Erin, everyone, I would try Tuesday through Thursday earlier in the day. Elise asks, even with excellent SEO research, how can we promise that the content will actually rank high on Google? That seems like a tall promise. Okay, so Elise, it sounds like you're a writer, as am I. There are no guarantees. So the most you can do, there are no guarantees with anything online. Writing, social media, whatever. Yeah, don't make promises you can't keep. A way to word it that's safe is, using writing as an example, we create content with the goal of boosting your Google rankings or something like that. But no, you don't promise. Anyone who's doing that is full of it. Fahiro, I hope I'm saying that right. How do we personalize? So how do you personalize the email? At a bare minimum, their first name and the name of the company. Like I've told you, and I will die with this on my gravestone. Quality. So I would suggest you spend an extra 30 to 60 seconds Googling this company or the person you're emailing and finding out one thing about them that you can use in that email. Okay? You don't need to spend hours researching them. You can find something in a matter of seconds. People know when you copy paste the same email to everyone. It's super obvious. Yes, I do mention the blog and that they have not recently posted. Yep, that's good. If you're ever selling a service like blogging and they have a blog but it's inactive, or if they have social media but their pages are inactive and you're selling your social media services, mention that. Joan says, I used to be so reluctant to follow up, mainly because I imagined that I came across like this. Have you finished those errands? Have you finished those errands? Of course, that's not the case. Yeah, a lot of people are scared to follow up. I would do it every 2 days. Personally, I follow up twice. So I send the initial cold email, 2 days later, follow up, 2 days later, follow up, and that's it. Some people will tell you to do it more. I know people who follow up 10 times. I don't. If I can't get their attention, then there are lots of fish in the sea. Seth says, I often hear that asking for time, like a phone call or whatever, in your first email can be a roadblock. That's interesting. Let me think about that for a minute. I can see why some people might feel like that's abrupt. You could always test it. Test a template where the CTA is trying to get the call. And then I have used CTAs before where I'm asking them about their goals. Like in my case, their goals for their blog. What are you trying to accomplish? So you can try that. For me personally, and this is why we all test, like my students, for example, in my program, they get 5 templates. And I tell them, rotate between them because some are going to outperform others. For me, for my business, having the CTA to get them on a call, like I mentioned earlier, it kind of sped things up a little bit. I don't want to say dragging out the conversation, but not having that CTA, it kind of felt like, for me, a prolonged part of the conversation that didn't really need to happen. Because we end up talking about that on the phone anyway. So, my whole goal with my cold emails is to get to the effing point. And my impression is that leads kind of appreciate that because they don't want their time wasted. But I will always tell you to test and compare. Out of all of your sales channels, which do you find the most successful? LinkedIn. I used to do face-to-face sales. People would often be sold on me before being sold on the product. Yes. Oh, yes. I am giving you a virtual high five. I'm going to read this again. Listen to this. I used to do face-to-face sales. People would often be sold on me before being sold on the product. You are one human being talking to another human being. That is what all of this boils down to. Talk like a human. Be warm and open and friendly. People want to work with people they like. All right? So it's like I said earlier, go into this with the intentions of, I just want to help these people be better. They're going to pick up on that. And conversely, if you're going in there just trying to make money, they're going to pick up on that too. Great comment. Great input. Oh, okay. So the person who had asked my most successful sales channel said emails, adverts. I don't advertise. Face-to-face meeting. I tried door-to-door way back. Hated it. Won't do it again. YouTube. I use YouTube. YouTube brings me students. It does not bring me clients for my agency. I'm sure some people have done that. Personally, that's just not the route I take. I use LinkedIn. LOL, Megan is speaking from experience. I always speak from experience. I will never talk out of my butt. Okay, so it looks like some of you are chit-chatting with each other. That's great. KDC, you are quite the salesperson. Thanks for the tip with mail tester. Yeah, mail tester is really helpful. And like I said, you don't have to run every email through it. Most of your emails are going to sound similar enough. One's not going to be flagged as spam when another isn't. But like I said, do it once in the beginning and then maybe do it every few months just to make sure nothing screwy is going on the technical side. Joanne says, your YouTube videos are so helpful. Thank you. That makes me so happy. It's hard. It takes a lot of time. So I'm glad you're getting value out of them. Charming says, I made that mistake once, sending a previous cold email template with the wrong name. I did it too. I did it recently. Oh, it's so shameful. I was moving too fast. And I got the email of a guy I had been looking for his email for a long time. And it was a brand I really wanted to work with. Embarrassing. I sat there waiting. I saw he opened the email and I sat there looking at my inbox, waiting for the nasty response, which it would have been totally warranted. And he decided to have mercy on me and he ignored me. I'm human. Let's see here. Hey, Megan, what's more effective for you, outbound or inbound marketing? Good question. Really good question. So let's talk about these if you're new to the terms. When we say outbound marketing or outbound sales, it means you are going out and getting the clients. You are cold emailing them. You are reaching out on LinkedIn. Inbound means they're coming to you. So every now and then, I will have a brand message me, usually on LinkedIn, saying that they need a writer or they need SEO. And they found me on LinkedIn because my profile is super optimized. By the way, that's what the free guide is about. I'll drop that link in a comment or somewhere around this video afterward. Those are inbound sales. Do not rely on inbound sales. It takes a very long time to build up. You can't control it. I mean, you can never control everything, but inbound sales, you really can't control. I mean, when you think of it this way, do you just want to sit around and hope that people reach out to you? They will eventually, but like I said, it takes a long time to get there and it's very unpredictable. And some people will try to sell you the idea of, I'll have your LinkedIn inbox blowing up with inbound leads. No, you won't. You won't. Sorry. So outbound, be proactive, go out and get them, and inbound will complement it. Hope that helps. Hello, Megan. It's Darren from LinkedIn. Hi, Darren. How do you deal with burnout after doing a ton of research and emailing? Great question. So one of the things I teach my students is to batch their work. You literally do parts of your work in batches, okay? There are all different ways to batch your work. One way to do that is to sit down and focus only on sourcing leads. So you are not qualifying leads, you're not sending cold emails, you're just sourcing. You can batch the cold emails. You can batch per niche, per industry. There's a million ways to do it. If you are like super sick and tired of sending cold emails, take a break from it. We're like slow and steady wins the race. Yes, it's partly a numbers game, but if you start to hate it and it starts to feel like a chore, you're never going to maintain it. So chip away at it a little bit over time. Consistency will always win out. So if you send 100 cold emails and then you're like, oh, I'm sick of this, and you don't do it for another 2 months, what would be better is sending like 5 to 10 a day or something like that. The one little kind of disclaimer I'll give you for that, if you are actively trying to grow your clientele and you kind of need money now-ish, I would still source regularly, because what you want to avoid is running out of leads, meaning you haven't sourced any leads. So that's the one thing I would keep in mind. But Darren and everyone else, absolutely pace yourself. I'm always trying to save you from making the mistakes that I have made. And I have burned myself out. I have burned the candle at both ends. I have pushed myself too far. It never works out. Okay? And if I ever answer your question and I didn't answer it fully or it's not helpful, drop another comment. Juana says, even warm emailing on LinkedIn does not work for me, and I'm active on LinkedIn. Juana, we should talk about that, because that's my main method for landing clients. It's on LinkedIn. So let's connect after this, because I can help you with that. There's no reason that shouldn't work for you. Love the live stream, Megan. Michael from Writers Sanctuary. I love Michael. Recommended your channel. We writers need to stick together. That's so great. I adore Michael. He's amazing and he's a good human. So I'm glad to have you here. Someone's asking, is keyword research a big part of your blogging process? Yep, we provide that to our clients. Ashby says, what are your thoughts on using AI, artificial intelligence based content generators? If my husband's still watching this, he's going to get a big kick out of this. As a writer, any type of software or machinery that replaces writers, I'm generally against. I've seen the results of them, and while impressive, they don't replace the human touch. So I think I would probably stop my, he is watching. I'm going to stop my opinion there, because I feel like it's, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's an earlier technology. Like it's newish. We're talking about AI machines that can write for you. They just generate text. They're good. You might not know that it wasn't a human. But like I said, I'm a writer, so I'm biased. I how could I advocate? Like, I feel like it would be so weird for me to be like, oh yeah, I love those things, because that would make me and all of my fellow writers obsolete. And like I said, a machine. Yeah, Charming said no software will replace human interaction. They don't. They won't do your keyword research. They won't make it sound like a human, a living, breathing human wrote it. Like, they can maybe come somewhat close, but it can't be replaced. Joanne, how many follow-ups do you do? 2 follow-ups. So the initial cold email, 1 follow-up 2 days later, a second follow-up 2 days later. 3 emails total, 1 cold email, 2 follow-ups. Thanks for answering my previous question. Can you share the cold email script that you read aloud via link or an attachment? Okay, so for everyone watching this, in the free guide that I have, there's that free guide is 2 things. It's how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and then there's a cold email template in there. So I will share that link on both platforms, on LinkedIn and YouTube, wherever you're watching. And you can take that template. Door-to-door sounds terrible. I'd rather be poor. I think door-to-door might have been, more popular years ago before we had the internet, and I would be willing to bet money that in the age of COVID, it's certainly not popular now. Something more. Okay, so Seth is going back to the CTA. We were talking earlier about if asking for a call might be too abrupt. Something more, less friction, like thoughts or open to hearing more. Yes, I will always tell you to try. I can tell you from my experience, the best results I got were with asking for a call. And if they don't want to do it, they're not going to, but they'll keep talking to you. When you say something like open to hearing more, that kind of goes back to the example of, are you interested in a call? It's just a yes or no response. So you want to get them to engage with you a little more. That's been my experience. Were the bookshelves behind you your idea? Very creative, a second income stream for you, perhaps? No. So when I moved in with my now husband, he put in these floating bookshelves. So that was all him. He did this whole office, and it is perfect. He's very creative. Thank you, Megan. I never thought of using the batch method. I will definitely try that out. Batching your work, it's good for your brain in many ways, because the theory behind batching your work is that every time your brain switches tasks, or every time it's interrupted, like when you pick up your phone, it takes, I forget the exact number, it takes like 13 to 16 seconds for your brain to truly refocus. So every time you switch tasks, you're actually losing time. So the argument then is that the less you switch tasks, you're going to get more done, and it's going to be of a better quality. So I'm a big fan of batching my work. Charming said, no software will replace human interaction. Exactly. That's another reason why I'm super hesitant about automating cold emailing. Be very, very careful with it. Does Sales Navigator really work? Can share a small story. So I actually have a YouTube video on this. I tried Sales Navigator, full disclosure. The only reason I tried it was for the in-mail credits. I wanted to see, in-mail allows you to message people that you are not yet connected with. Otherwise, with a free basic LinkedIn account, you have to be connected to someone before you can send them a DM. And like I said, I use mostly LinkedIn to land my clients. So I paid for Sales Navigator for the in-mail credits, and I talk about LinkedIn all the time. I'm obsessed with LinkedIn because it works so well. In my experience, Sales Navigator was not worth it for the in-mail credits alone. I tried it, I tracked my results. It did not make a difference for me. So that's my 2 cents on Sales Navigator. And like I said, I have a full video on that if you want to hear a little bit more. Awesome. Thank you, Megan. You are welcome, Elise. Hi, Megan. Thanks for your energy. Thank you, Thomas. Charming says, Megan, I will reach out for cold LinkedIn tips. The strategy isn't effective. I'd like to improve it. Definitely reach out. I can help with that. Joanne says, I love those bookshelves. More love for the bookshelves. Where you focus more, the more energy you put. I think where you put your energy is what's going to grow. Absolutely. Time management is key. Absolutely. The batch strategy works perfectly because it allows you to put your energy in one place. Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah. That's the idea. Focusing on one thing at a time. Personally, I like to batch sourcing. So I will sit down for like an hour, 2 hours, whatever. I'll set a timer and I will just source as many leads as I can. That just works really, really well with my brain. I will have to check out your LinkedIn course. Yeah, so the course is called Revenue Spark. I will also leave you with that link as soon as we get off here. And it teaches you how to land clients And LinkedIn is a huge part of that. Thanks, Megan. You're welcome, Abdul. Bryson says, thank you for saving me from doing Sales Navigator. Your video gave me a lot of help. You're welcome. And Sales Navigator might work great for other professionals, but those in-mail credits, they go so fast, and they don't really give you that many. So it wasn't for me. Emmanuel says, hi, Megan. What's your view on using cold emails for affiliate marketing? Thanks for this. I think it can work. Affiliate marketing it's got a million moving parts. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of cold emailing. I'm living proof that it works. Joanne says, I used Sales Navigator for my free trial. Megan's YouTube videos to take full advantage of the free month and cold pitch like crazy. My first paid gig more than paid my car payment that month. Try the free month. Okay, so there you go. Someone who liked Sales Navigator. You're right. They do offer a free trial. Try the free trial. Absolutely. Here's an interesting question. Do you approach men and women in emails with a different tone or approach, or even through LinkedIn? Nope. No, I do not. I approach them based on whatever I can find out about them. But normally it's just a very simple message introducing myself, telling them I want to talk to them about their blog. Good question. Thanks for all the helpful advice. You're welcome. Okay, so that is it. We've caught up. Like I said, if I addressed your comment and didn't address it to your satisfaction, tell me. We are at just over an hour, so I'm going to sit here for like 2 more minutes and just to make sure I get all you. And now's the time. If you have any last minute questions, you can drop them. And you can always reach out to me after. Came late, looking forward to the replay. Yes, the replays will be up on both LinkedIn and YouTube. Feel free to message me anytime. If you are watching on YouTube, you can find me on LinkedIn so we can message back and forth. I'm on Instagram. My handle is Coach Megan Grant. I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok. My TikToks aren't very good, but I'm there. Thanks so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's so cool seeing names I recognize. We've talked before. So cool. Ooh, goes my light. All right. Any last minute questions before I end this stream? And also, maybe just follow up with me after. Any specific requests. If you found this helpful or something I could do to be better, let me know because I would love to do this again. Allison says, just got here. We'll be watching the replay. Can't wait. Yes, watch it. Reach out to me when you're done. Again, feel free to DM me anywhere. Let me know you were on this live stream. Before I sign off, hi, Teresa. Just want to say thank you again for all your help. You're always thorough and willing to help. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Teresa. Teresa's in my program. She is great. So thank you for being here and for always being so kind. I always notice when people say supportive things. So thank you. Cabo Wabo, please describe how we could work with you. Great question. Let me go into my sales pitch. So my program is called Revenue Spark. I work with a lot of agency owners, but I also work with freelancers and consultants, some types of coaches. This won't work for every coach, but basically I saw such good results scaling my own agency. We are almost at the $20,000 a month mark. So cool little milestone coming up. This just came from years and years and years of trial and error. So I put it all into a program, cut out all the fluff, and that is what the program teaches you. It'll show you my whole process for landing clients. So sourcing leads, where to find them, how to qualify them, who to talk to, what to say to them, all my scripts, my templates, my spreadsheets, all the way through sending them your proposal, which is the last step. You get lifetime access to the program. You get lifetime access to the private Facebook group, which is for students only. And it also comes with coaching. Just a little, my 2 cents, any program you consider enrolling in general, if it does not include, if it's not like a mini course, if it's a full-blown program and there's not some type of coaching involved, I would just be careful. Because like I said earlier, and this applies to all of us, there's no perfect one-size-fits-all approach. Things are going to have to be tweaked for you. A lot of that you will figure out on your own, and some of it you will need help with. So that's why in my program, you get the Facebook group where you can talk to all the other students, and you get me. You get me in the group, but you also get me over email. You get me on Zoom if you need it, because you are not going to be like any other professional. So just a word of caution from me to you, coaching really helps. Do you need writers on your team? Not currently, but I will probably need to hire soon. Revenue Spark, yes. And I will leave that link on both LinkedIn and YouTube. It's called Revenue Spark. There's a page on my website. You can see the full curriculum there. You can see testimonials. And the next step would be to book a call, which you can also do on that page. If you go to my website, megangrant.net, you'll see it in the main navigation. But like I said, I'll drop the link. And the reason I ask for a phone call is because I want to learn a little more about you and your goals. And I also need to be sure that I can help you. If I'm not confident I can help you, I wouldn't enroll you. So that's why we do a call first. Will says, congrats, Megan. Thank you. 20K a month. Congrats. Thank you. I know, it's like I came from such humble beginnings. I used to make like, $1,500 a month way back. And yeah, so 20K a month it took a minute to get here. But that's always my goal with the people that I teach. I want to help them hit their goals faster, quicker than, I took so long to get there. So the goal is to speed up the process for you so you don't have to spend 10 years on it like I did. Okay. All right. You guys are so nice. I think I'm going to end the stream now, but I hope you will all be in touch. Reach out anytime with questions, comments, feedback. I'm always here. I'm always supporting you. I'm always your cheerleader. If you need, anything that I might be able to help with, reach out anytime. And yeah, I will follow up with all the links that I mentioned. Okay? So thank you for giving me some of your time today. I appreciate it. I know we are all busy. And I hope you had a wonderful holiday if you celebrated. And I hope 2022 is off to a good start. Let's make it a good year. And stay healthy. Stay safe. All right? Love you guys. See you later.